Hello again, welcome back to Boundary Park for another episode of the Boundary Line ahead of the biggest game of the season so far, the showdown at the top of Betfred League One as Oldham welcome Keighley Cougars here on Sunday afternoon. We have a couple of likely boys from the leadership group in Joe Wardle and Matty, Wildie who have joined us this week. Welcome to you both. We'll build up to Keighley in a moment. We've got a debrief from the weekend, a good win ultimately against North Wales Crusaders, a game that almost went the other way at their place. So what went right, do you think, this time?
Well, and for those that obviously watched the game, as D were just on point. We obviously didn't start too good, kicking ball out on full straight away, but then we got put under a lot of pressure being on his line, I think for like 4 sets on bounce straight away. So as soon as we defended that, we knew straight away as D was on point, and it was just a matter of time before we broke them down and put our stuff into place as systems that we'd come away with a few tries and a few points. So it was just about being patient, just doing well, and then just completing and getting on the back of that.
Yeah, that was the point we made on the weekend, Matty. It was a patient performance. It seemed to me that there was a different mindset from away at North Wales. They came at you very early, both games, but I never felt like that one on Sunday was going to get away from you.
No, and I think we've come a long way since we played them away. Like Joe just touched on there, and I think as defence we're massive. We did too much of it, but when we had to defend, we defended well for each other, and middles worked hard, especially with all that pressure we had early on, and then to go up the other end and score with what probably was first good ball set just shows what we're about and how hard we're willing to work for each other.
Is the mindset, Joe, any different because of the stage of the season we're at? You never want to go into a game thinking we don't want to win today, but we're almost at the point of the season now where you can't drop any points. You can't make as many errors as perhaps we were doing earlier on in the campaign.
No, and to be fair, that's probably one area of our game that we can probably get a lot better with as well. I know, like I touched on, that we're saying we're completing, but we're probably getting off to too many slow starts at the moment, and that's probably one area as a club we've identified that we need to be better, because going into these last couple of games where it can be crucial, you don't want the game to get away from you before it's already started, if that makes sense. So you don't want to be playing catch up and chasing your tail, and then you're doing stuff you don't normally do to try to win the game back. So I think for us it's just keep focusing on getting that start right, just keep knocking sets out, just building, be patient, backing as D, because I think that's just the keystone of what we are. We're a tough team to break down when we're on with as D, and obviously that's proved with conceding minimal points all year. So yeah, I think we just need to keep building with that, and then the rest of the games will just look after themselves, because we've got the talent in the squad to compete and to score the points. So we just I think we just focus on that, make it the little adjustments at the start of games, and just keep going with it.
Just one on that, Matty, the defensive style of it. Joe just says there we got entertaining players who can win us games, and you've got a head coach who, I know, I've been in those team meetings, he wants a bit of chaos, he wants you to play off the cuff, he wants you to be entertaining and chuck it around. But Sean Long, more than anything, wants that zero, doesn't he? Yeah. He's absolutely devastated when you concede a late try. So
thanks for reminding me.
What was that? Who was to blame for that?
Me.
Was it? What happened?
I just got too high. Just got me inside. So
still learning.
It's my fault. I know, mate.
The old
always learning. Always learning.
But that's right. In any sport, defense wins championships, as they say in the NBA. I'm a bit of a basketball geek. It's the defensive side that wins championships. So we might kind of be thrilled by all the entertaining stuff we're doing, but that's what's going to prove the difference, isn't it? All that stuff that Joe didn't do on Sunday.
No, yeah, obviously we are disappointed when we concede, especially late on, and it's one thing that we do like to focus on is sort of chase that zero, work hard for each other, and put on a good display in defence that Joe spoke about, and they're the foundations that lay the platform for good attack. But at the same time, if teams do score against us, we can't get too down about it, and it's next job mentality. And it's not going to go our way all the time. We know that, and I think we're quite a good group to bounce back from adversity and put things right.
And it was a win here on Sunday that So the Ruffians go back top of the table, a point clear of Keighley ahead of the visit of the Cougars on Sunday. So make sure you get your tickets. We want this place as busy as possible in this Joe Royal stand. So if you've got mates or family members who haven't been down yet, I would suggest this is the game to do it. Can I talk a little bit about competition for places? You mentioned, Joe, that the start on Sunday wasn't ideal. The kick-off went out on the full. That was the first touch in an Oldham shirt by Kieran Dixon, who ended up having a pretty good game, getting himself on the ball, scored 2 tries, kicked 4 out of 6, I think. Now he's come in, and there are going to be other new additions as well. Make sure you're following our social channels for news of new additions. Mike Ford and Bill Quinn last week stressed that they're never going to stop trying to make this squad better. That's brilliant for all fans, and I guess to keep you boys on your toes as well. But blimey, when you're fighting for your shirts and you're seeing the quality and the acquisition to get better and better, just take us into the mindset of that, of blimey, we're a good side now, but I'm looking over my shoulder here. I've got to be really on it.
It's not a nice feeling, I can tell you that. Just keep on your toes though. I think that's what it's about, is keeping everyone on the toes. Obviously, like you said, Bill and Mike are constantly wanting to add to the squad and make the squad better each week, each month, each year. So, and that's just what it's about, especially if you want to achieve stuff in rugby league. Like in any sport, you've got to keep adding to the best players. And as like us as a squad, it means you've got to go out there and perform, do your job week in, week out to the best of your ability, training, turn up, do the right things to make sure then you're getting picked. Because obviously if you're not, then there's a guy there just waiting to step in and do that job that you're not doing. So, which it is good. Having that healthy competition is very good. Like I say, it gets the best out of everybody and it makes you perform at that higher standard.
And you were shifted in to play at number 6 on Sunday, and Bailey Aldridge, who played your number, roll number 9, was arguably the best player on the pitch. So you're on your toes as well.
Yeah, I think like the proof's there that you've got to train hard and work hard to, and obviously stick in there as when times are tough as well. I know that Bailey's been probably getting limited minutes to what he'd like, but it just shows at the weekend he comes in and he plays 60, 70 minutes at 9, and it was his best game for the club so far by a mile. So yeah, everyone's pushing each other, and that's the only thing that's going to get us better each week. So yeah, long may that continue.
But what strikes me about this as well, and just one more point on that, with the likes of Kieran coming in and further new additions to follow, to me I see a real humility and maturity amongst your group, because there isn't any sulking. You know, you had 2 new, in fact 3 of the 3 quarters were changed on Sunday, and you got your top try scorer, Kean Tyra, who was left out, and Jack Johnson as well, who was 18th man. But it's take it on the chin, yeah, have a chat about selection, but then knuckle down and work hard. And we had that session at Watershead last week, and I think one of the questions in the fans forum afterwards was about the dynamic and the guys coming in and the maturity, that there doesn't seem to be any ego or bad attitude, and that's something that's really struck me as well since coming into this club.
No mate, and you can't have that in a team environment, because if you do, then it upsets everybody. And you can't have that. It's because if you're upsetting people, then it leaks onto the field, and then when stuff are going wrong, it makes it's just not a nice place to be. I've had it previously at a couple of clubs. Well, I remember past at a couple of teams, and yeah, it makes it hard work. You're not getting the best out of everybody, and then like you just get the wrong attitudes, and people just give up basically. So we just want to make sure everyone's striving for that same goal, because at the end of the day, we're all here to get that end goal, and that's to get this club back into the championship and to win silverware. Whether you want to older senior ones like us, or whether you're a young one like say Kean Tyra. So like speaking of Kieran, like for him to be missing, I think you got to look at it as he's got a seasoned pro coming in. Can he learn anything off him? Do you know what I mean? Like Dicko's been around the place. He's played Super League. I played with him at Lee a couple of years ago. He had to do the same thing then did Dicko when he had Blake Ferguson and Christian Inno in front of him. So it was like, bloody hell, is he out? I can learn off these whilst I've got him here. So I think that's what's good about our group. All the young kids are wanting to learn off all the old guys, and we're willing to pass on our knowledge to what they want to learn. So yeah, it's just a constant good vibe at the minute, and I think that obviously it's showing. That's why we are where we are at table.
Yeah, real infectious energy. Kieran Dixon certainly brings that. Just before we get on to build up to the Keighley game, which is what we're really excited about, Matty, this coming Sunday, and again, we're desperate to get a really big crowd and big atmosphere. I told you it wasn't going to rain, didn't I? I said the same thing about the sprinkler last week.
Give it 5 minutes and
we're
they'll be
all right.
on.
I think we're safe, guys. Just never ever listen to me. We've touched really nicely there on how things are growing on the pitch. I'm just interested in how aware you guys are about how things are going off the pitch. You know, we had we had full hospitality here Sunday. We had famous faces here in Dion Dublin, and obviously George Ford was here, and Jason Manford rolling around on the pitch with Dion. Down in the fans bar where I hosted before the game, that was packed. We had the under 12s teams who were playing on here beforehand. They were down. They got a hero's welcome when they came in. Round of applause trophy. It was fantastic. Live music. The dance troupe were in there. We've got this world record attempt that we're trying to plan for next May. The sponsorship we've got growing so quick. How aware of you guys of all that kind of thing? As two seasoned pros, as you put it. How aware are you of the growth as a whole of this club?
I think you can see how far it's progressing. From when we first came and the season started to the amount of fans that we've got now turning up each week is massive, and it can only get bigger. And as long as we can keep performing on the field and doing our bit, hopefully more fans can come through the gates and cheer us on, and it can be back where it once was. That's
going to be the key, isn't it? As in alignment, really, with all the work that's been done off the pitch. It's getting success on here. That's
100%.
That's when, with this detachment that we've had with this club and fans kind of staying away, that's going to be the big thing, isn't it? Bringing people back, seeing a team you want to be invested in, seeing a good group of guys who you want to support doing great things out there and winning stuff.
Yeah, definitely. That's what it's all about, innit? There's a town, everyone just wants to win, make the place thrive. And also showing them a good brand of rugby as well.
Yeah.
Like, not being boring, because obviously you don't want to come to a game. Yeah, you might win, but if it's a boring win, people get fed up of watching, don't they? So that's one of the good things.
That's good with football fans.
Well, exactly. Can never win out there, can we? But yeah, that's one good thing with Longy though. He's always pushing us to play entertaining rugby, and that's one thing I think we're building with slowly and nicely. So yeah, it's just everything seems to be building in a good way at the club, and hopefully we can just do our bit on the field and get that silverware, and obviously everyone behind the scenes can do their bit, and we can push and get this club back to how it should be and where it belongs.
Yeah, stronger together as it goes. Actually, just one more on that in terms of the local talent coming through, and this is something that you've discussed with me, Joe, before. How proud are you to see some of that? We've got the 8-9 under-18s who are training with you every Tuesday to the end of the season. Actually, two of them playing with the national team at the moment. That must give you a proud nod of the head when you see stuff like that.
Yeah, I think it just proves that the talent's out there. It just needs to be tapping into, and not letting all the big clubs in Super League tap into it and take them. So, like I say, we've brought them. A lot of them have been training for us for a while now, and mate, they're standing their own as well. Like they're making us have a little run for us money. So, yeah, I think if we can keep them on board and keep developing them as players, then the future is definitely bright for all of them.
Let's look ahead to the big one. Keighley Cougars here Sunday afternoon, 3 o'clock. It's the top two in Betfred League One. In terms of highs and lows, Matty, of the season so far, there have been plenty of highs, some really good performances defensively and attacking wise. The big crowd, I think, off the pitch when we had Rochdale here and we got massively upwards of 2,000, that was a huge high off the pitch. In terms of lows, you would probably say North Wales away, where Danny Craven rescued us at the end of the game. And I guess top of the lows list would be Keighley away, where well, you tell me, it just didn't happen for whatever reason.
No, take nothing away from Keighley. They played well, and they come at us and give it to us, and I don't think we responded very well. That it wasn't our best game. We know when we came off that field that everyone was very disappointed in how we performed, and like I said to you earlier, I feel like we've come a long way since then. We've slowly improved in areas that we needed to, and we'll continue to do that. And like I say, this Sunday promises to be a big game and an exciting one, and one that we're certainly looking forward to.
What were the main learnings, do you think, from that trip to Keighley. It was hostile, wasn't it? It was.
Yeah.
It just seemed like one of those bad afternoons, and I don't know. You know much more about elite professional sport than me. Why does that happen? Preparation seemed spot on. You were playing great, and it was just one of those afternoons where nothing clicked.
No, I think that's nail on the head. It was just one of those days where nothing seemed to go right for us. Again, we started really slow that day, and then we had a couple of chances to get ourselves back into it, and like just silly stuff where DC dropped that ball over that line, little things like that. You just know that
Big moments.
Yeah, big moments that just it's not your day when stuff like that happens. But end of the day, we took it on chin. They played better than us on the day, and rightly so. So. We're looking forward to it. We've got a bit of revenge what we need to do this week, so we're going to have a big week's training and get prepared for that game on Sunday.
Is that something you discuss, revenge? Do you take it as one game, Matty, how do we win this game? Or is that, whether you discuss it or not, is there something inside you thinks, we owe them one, we need to give them one Sunday?
Yeah, obviously when you lose against a team, you want to get one over them on the next time. But like Joe touched on then, and you touched on before, there's lows and there's highs in seasons, and we certainly learn a lot more from a low and a loss like that than we would do beating a team by 60 or 50. So I think it's been good for us, that loss. It's certainly pushed us in the right direction, and we're certainly better for that.
And is there a point there as well that we're going to have to acknowledge, Joe, is that if you're a team like Oldham, assembling a squad that Oldham has, doing all the work with the financial backing and investment that's surrounding this project as well, you've got to acknowledge that every other team is going to want to coin a phrase from the Premier League, to knock you off your perch.
Oh mate, we've seen it every week, haven't we?
Yeah.
Like no one's turned up and just rolled over for us. We've had to work for everything we've got. So like I say, I think that's the pressure that you've got to thrive off. Really, you've got to know you've got to put your best foot forward and go out there and give your best. And I think that's where, probably as a team, we're still getting better and better each week, where we're trying to slowly grind them teams down so they get to that point where it's a bit too much for us now, sort of thing. But no, like I say, every game's hard, and you've just got to go out there and dig deep, and that's what you've got to do to get the result, basically.
And how much in games, in big games like this, I wouldn't go as far as to say this is a championship decider, Matty, but if Oldham can get the result on Sunday, you're in a really good spot. A really good spot with another 4 home games and 2 away games to go. So how much, therefore, psychology-wise, mentality-wise, call it what you want, is on you guys in the leadership group to make sure you're on it and you're focused and nothing gets in your heads, not, all the concentration is there, the preparation spot on. How much on you, whether you speak about it or not, is to make sure everyone is united for that goal Sunday?
Yeah, we say that, but I think every game's the same. Us as leaders speak every week about how we need to control the game, how calm we need to be, and we need to stay level-headed to get the result. And Sunday's no different. It would be nice. It'll be nice to get the win, and it might relieve a bit of pressure, but we can't disregard any other team, because there's, like Joe said, there's every other team coming to knock us off his perch. So every game's going to be tough. So we need to be good up until the end of the year.
I think we with Sunday, at least, it puts us, if we manage to get the win, it puts it all into our control.
Yeah.
So then it's all down to us making sure we turn up with the right attitude every week, doing the right things to make sure we're doing the best we can to then take control and not worry about other results. I think that's the best thing we can do about Sunday, is just make sure we turn up, do the right thing, get the job done, then it's all about us then.
How do you think Keighley will be feeling about coming here Sunday?
Well, they'll be wanting the same thing, won't they? They'll be saying the exact same thing. So that's why, in essence, it probably is quite a big game, to be fair. Because it probably allows either team to take control of potentially what their destiny could be. So, like I say, I think both teams will be putting the best foot forward, and hopefully it'll be a good game for the fans to come and watch, and quite an entertaining, tough game.
Final thoughts then, because despite my weather forecast, it looks like it's going to absolutely thump it down. So apologies, boys,
thanks.
for that. You've got to go and train.
Good job, no air.
You've got to go and train after this.
I look like Ted.
Final thoughts then ahead of Sunday. If you're watching this, you're not been along before, you're thinking, what shall I do Sunday afternoon? What would you say? I've asked you this before, Matty, as a salesman. Put your marketing head on your bald head. I'm allowed to say that. What would you say to any fans thinking, I don't know, I quite fancy that. They made it sound like a good game. What would you say to them?
I'd say it's a game not to miss, and it's certainly a club that's family orientated and put things on for the kids as well, and it's a great day out overall, so why not spend your Sunday afternoon, come down, watch a good brand of rugby and hopefully cheer us on and get that win.
Not bad, almost as good as the Chaplow twins. Over to you, Mr. Wardle.
No, but they can talk.
Yeah. Oh no, yeah.
They've got gift at gab, them two.
I asked 2 questions in half an hour during that
I'm not
episode.
surprised. No, but I just think if you want to have a great day out, come to an event that's just, it's not just rugby based, it's here for everybody. There's stuff going on in the bar up the top, down the bar at the bottom, stuff on the field before the game. It's an event, isn't it? It's not just a rugby game. So if you want to be entertained, I think it's just a perfect day for you and the family to come down and support the guys.
We'll leave it there, boys. Really appreciate your time in
all
all
good.
sincerity, giving up your time before training. It's great, and I really appreciate it. So
Thank you.
we'll see you during the week. Thank you, and hopefully we will see you Sunday. It's the big one. It's the top 2 in Betfred League One. It's your Oldham Ruffians taking on Keighley Cougars with a point to prove, perhaps, after what happened at their place. It's a Sunday afternoon, it's a 3 o'clocker. We'll be live with music, entertainment, all that kind of thing in the fan bar from 12. It's free for under 16s as well. So bring your family, bring your mates. Let's get this place rocking and hopefully get the result on the pitch as well. We'll see you then.